final item is item 10F, adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to submit a Transportation Development Act Article 3 grant application to City County Association of Governments of San Mateo County for the Huntington, San Antonio Bicycle Corridor and Lomita Park Elementary Safe Routes to School project.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. Staff has identified this grant opportunity for bicycle improvements along the southern portion of Huntington Avenue and San Antonio Avenue, as well as pedestrian and bicycle improvements in the area adjoining Lomita Park Elementary School within the city of San Bruno. While Lomita Park Elementary is within the city of Millbrae and not within the San Bruno Park School District, a large number of students attend this school from the city of San Bruno. The area of this proposed application is part of a north-south bicycle and pedestrian route that extends parallel to El Camino Real from the terminus of the Centennial Way Trail at the north to the border of San Bruno and Millbrae to the south. As this overall route extends through San Bruno, it connects San Bruno's BART and Caltrain stations and downtown San Bruno, and provides a link to the South San Francisco BART and Caltrain stations to the north and the Millbrae BART and Caltrain stations to the south. This grant is through the Transportation Development Act, TDA Article 3, Pedestrian and Bicycle Program, administered by the City County Association of Governments of San Mateo County, CCAG. The maximum individual grant through this program is $400,000. Staff has put together a grant proposal that would include the following general improvements: on-road bicycle improvements along Huntington and San Antonio Avenues, and pedestrian improvements adjacent to Lomita Park Elementary School within the city of San Bruno. It should be noted that the city of Millbrae will be addressing pedestrian and bicycle improvements beginning at Lomita Park Elementary in areas within its jurisdiction and continuing a bicycle route into the residential area east of El Camino Real to their BART and Caltrain stations. More specifically, the improvements proposed as part of this grant application will include the following: bicycle and pedestrian improvements along Huntington Avenue, south of our Caltrain station, through and along San Antonio Avenue to the Millbrae border. These improvements will include pavement graphics referred to as sharrows. These are a painted arrow and bicycle stenciled into a travel lane, striping and signage, including solar-powered speed feedback signs as traffic calming measures. Pedestrian improvements within San Bruno's public right-of-way in the vicinity of Lomita Park Elementary School would include striping, crosswalk enhancements, and signage. Street rehabilitation on San Anselmo and Santa Helena Avenues around Lomita Park Elementary. This street rehabilitation is not eligible as a cost of the grant and therefore would be paid for by our local match, which is described in our staff report. Work would be done with the San Bruno Traffic Safety and Parking Committee, TSPC, to evaluate a speed limit reduction from 30 to 25 miles per hour along some or all segments of Huntington Avenue and San Antonio Avenue. The intent is to evaluate this area to see if there could be measures to reduce speed and make this a safer route. As part of this work, low-cost improvement measures would be considered to slow traffic along these avenues, including, but not limited to, traffic circles, medians, lane narrowing, and bulb outs, using low-cost measures such as paint, delineators, reflectors, planter boxes with landscaping. A speed survey and review of collision data would occur after implementing identified low-cost traffic calming improvements to assess the benefit of the selected traffic calming improvements as part of work by TSPC and their follow-up evaluation. Staff's grant proposal would result in 8 of 10 possible competitive points for this application and breaks down in the following way. The overall project cost is $642,000. Of that, the proposed local match is $256,800. That amount is broken down in this way. $143,000 would be accounted for by assigning the already approved Lomita Pump Station road rehabilitation funding to this application. And in addition, there would be new local funding in the amount of $113,800, and this money would come from either Measure A or gas tax funds. And then the grant request. The grant request, totaling 8 of 10 points, would be $385,200. And again, the maximum funding possible through this would be $400,000. And again, the total cost is $642,000. The proposed improvements would add another segment to creating a safer, more convenient, and comfortable north-south corridor for pedestrians and bicyclists between the Centennial Way Trail terminus, connecting San Bruno's BART and Caltrain stations, downtown San Bruno, and extending to Millbrae and the Millbrae BART and Caltrain stations. The proposed improvements are supported by the city's general plan, transit corridors plan, and the recently adopted San Bruno Walk and Bike Plan. These proposed improvements would connect with surrounding community improvements being pursued by the city of Millbrae and would leverage roadway rehabilitation work already approved on Huntington and San Antonio Avenues from Keynes to Santa Ynez Avenues, as well as build upon the city's recent past success to receive approval of a $914,000 grant for a cycle track, protected bike lanes, and pedestrian improvements from the terminus of the Centennial Way Trail to San Bruno Avenue. Therefore, staff is recommending to you tonight to adopt the resolution attached to your staff report, authorizing the city manager to submit the grant application. That concludes my report. I would be pleased to respond to your questions. Thank you.
Any questions for staff at this time? Marty?
So I know, especially recently, we got a request for some improvements, safety improvements, stop signs, which would be part of the traffic calming for the whole street. So I think the good news would be, Tim, that it's coming. It sounds like a great project. I'm hopeful that the cost estimates are there for it, because that street is in very, very bad shape, near reconstruction level. I'm encouraged too that the striping and paint, and that would include the red curb that would be necessary to provide the line of sight. Is that correct, that the paint does include red curb?
Right. Again, these measures would need to be evaluated by TSPC. So the measures that we spoke about in the staff report would be measures that would be presented and evaluated by the TSPC.
Okay. All right. Well, I think it's great. Look forward to, hopefully it's all going to work out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Action?
Real quick, I
I'm sorry.
apologize. And I know but going all the way down to Huntington, and
Yes.
is this going to potentially again narrow down?
Potentially, again, looking at measures to slow traffic to make the route safer. So the measures I mentioned in the staff report and described here verbally, narrowing lanes with striping, circles, traffic circles, those kinds of measures would be evaluated by TSPC.
But not eliminating lanes. This is just talking
No,
about the traffic calming.
not
Good.
eliminating
Just wanted to be
lanes.
clear, because I know there was another item that prior, but this is
Right.
totally,
Yeah.
yes, just so people understand.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Action?
No, I'll introduce the resolution. Councilmember O'Connell.
Aye.
Councilmember Marty Medina.
Aye.
Councilmember Rico Medina.
Aye.
Mayor Ruane.
Aye.